You know, the challenges that the General Assembly faces now are not of their own creation. The pension crisis that we have has been building for decades. Neglect and mismanagement have led to pension problems, as well as projections on growth that turned out to be unrealistic. And now the governor, the mayor, the General Assembly are trying to put this back on track. It is not easy.
It's been 5 years now, or at least since the last governor has taken over, and what was it, 12 years?
I would have to tell you it has been decades in creation. There was a period of time under one governor of the other party where for 8 years they did not fund the pension systems. That was considered to be a wise bookkeeping move. And now we're facing the consequences. This is not an easy situation at all. They're doing their best to be fair to retirees and to taxpayers, and I can understand this is not an easy assignment.
Senator, you were instrumental in bringing the Lincoln Library to town and museum. I mean, what do you think of this proposed shakeup that Speaker Madigan has talked about?
Here's what I'm looking for. I want to make sure whatever agency runs the Lincoln Presidential Library and Museum, it's handled professionally. I want to see even more visitors. This has been such a success story. We've had over 3 million visitors to this Lincoln Presidential Library in the last 9 years. We're up with the second or third most visited presidential library in America. I want to make sure whoever manages, whatever agency, that we have a level of professionalism and we continue to bring more and more people to Springfield.
Have you seen any shortcomings in the way it's run now?
I think there are, easy from the outside to look in, I think there are ways to market it more effectively. The problem we face goes back to the earlier question. The state of Illinois doesn't have the money for promotion and marketing for virtually anything. And so the foundation's done a good job raising money for this Lincoln Presidential Library and Museum, but I think it still has an untapped potential.
Do you favor his legislation?
Like I said, I am not going to make a decision on which agency, whether it's historic preservation or some new or independent agency. But I've said to the Speaker this morning, what I'm looking for is professionalism in the way it's managed.
What do you think of lawmakers kind of leaving a budget goose egg for whoever comes into in the governorship?
It reflects the inherent political difficulties they face. Demands on the pension side as well as the budget side, and not enough revenue. With the expiration of this increase in the income tax, they face a real, terrible challenge as to how we can keep our state moving forward and meet our obligations. As I travel around the state, I meet more and more vendors, contractors who are waiting and waiting and waiting to be paid by the state. We've got to reach the point where we get this state moving forward in a solid way, and it's tough politically. I might just add the other political party isn't jumping to the rescue here with their plan, because there are no easy answers.
But is it responsible to let the voters kind of put it to a referendum question almost versus having lawmakers make these decisions on their own? On the tax increase, for instance. Well, they're saying if Rauner comes in, then we'll make cuts. Well, if Quinn is elected again, perhaps we'll put the revenue in place.
I understand Mr. Rauner is going to try to say something specific about what he believes when it comes to the budget, and I'm looking forward to it. Then we'll have a good comparison for the voters in November.
What do you think his biggest weakness as a gubernatorial candidate is, Rauner?
Well, he is. I think he's hearing all over the state that people want to know what he stands for, what he would do, what his plans are. That's a reasonable question to ask a gubernatorial candidate or any candidate. Secondly, I believe he's struggling with the fact that he has been a successful businessman, made a lot of money, reportedly $53 million he made last year, and yet he doesn't seem to be in favor of increasing the minimum wage for workers across the state. There's a real disconnect there. I don't begrudge anyone's wealth if they've come by it honestly, and I believe he has, but he should be sensitive as well to a lot of families that are struggling paycheck to paycheck. And his statements, as well as the statements of my opponent, indicate they're not.
And how do you size up Governor Quinn's chances for re-election?
I think it's going to be a close race, and I think the governor knows that. I think Mr. Rauner knows it as well.
How do you think not passing an income tax extension affects bringing the Obama Library to the state?
I don't know that it has any connection to it.
Senator, speaking back to the library, do you think that this process has been done the right way? Is this enough time? Have enough people been sought after their opinion?
You know, there are critics of what goes on in Washington every day on Capitol Hill and how we manage our business. And I'm not going to get into the business of Monday morning quarterbacking when it comes to the General Assembly. They have their own challenges and their own issues. But the point I've made, I want to make over. the Lincoln Presidential Library and Museum was an idea that I came up with as a congressman, and it sat there for almost 10 years and nothing happened. And then, with Speaker Denny Hastert, with Mayor Karen Hesera, with the cooperation of the General Assembly, with the help of George Ryan, we got it done. And it's an amazing achievement. But I think that it needs to move to the next level of attracting visitors and being handled in a professional way. If a new agency can achieve that, an independent agency, that's fine. I want to see the results.
How would you weigh in on all the state constitutional amendments that are coming up on the ballot?
Well, I don't know that there'll be any constitutional amendments on the ballot. I'm waiting to see. Some of those are still being decided. I absolutely support the proposal for increasing the minimum wage. I hope that it brings out a good turnout of voters who support it as well. We find the support for increasing the minimum wage is across party lines. Overwhelming majority of Democrats, independents, and even a majority of Republicans support the increase in the minimum wage. The only two Republicans I know who don't happen to be running for senator and governor in the state.
Senator, in your own re-election campaign, I mean, how do you size up Senator Oberweis's performance here as a state senator?
I'll let the voters do that. Okay? Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Senator.